I will now guide you through the next 2 sessions, featuring really great speakers, amazing speakers, on a very important topic. It's about female leadership, it's about gender equality and diversity. And we will start with a fireside chat on Move for Female Transformation. And here are the details. In the tourism industry, the majority of employees are women, but they are often underrepresented in leadership positions. Women's participation and leadership are crucial as they significantly contribute to success, especially during turbulent times with the transformation of companies and societies. To advocate for gender equality in tourism, the German initiative MOVET, Move for Female Transformation, was established. And I am now looking forward to exploring all the details together with Sven Liebert. Sven, please join me on stage.
Can you hear me?
In the middle, please. In the middle.
In the middle.
Yes. So, Sven, you are the Secretary General of the Federal Association of the German Industry, short for is BTW. Together with the Bertelsmann Foundation, you are a co-editor of the book Update Wirtschaft für Gesellschaft. You advocate for the socio-political role of companies, and as a supporter of MOVET initiative, you aim for greater gender equality in tourism. So lots of topics.
I hope everything is true, yeah.
Hope so too. So talking about MOVET.
Yeah.
Can you please provide some further information about this initiative, the reason behind its initiation, and also explain its goals in more detail?
Yeah, sure. I mean, for us as an association, it was always crucial that in my work environment, I just have old men around me. When you talk about politics, when you talk about associations, it's basically the problem that I'm dealing lots with old men. And the industry I'm dealing with, I'm representing the industry which is much more diverse, which is much more colorful. And so we just thought, okay, what can we do as an association to drive this change? And this project Move for Female Transformation was the idea, what is really needed? And we thought, okay, we need a network on the one hand, and of course we need some change in the companies. And so we got some support from the Ministry of Economics in Germany, and they just said, okay, let's go. And we fund you as BTW with the project to do 2 things. So like one was that we did this kind of female leader lunches, now like for the 4th time. So it's an upcoming event every 6 months where we bring together around 250 women, so like female leaders from the tourism industry, so just to get the connection. And on the other hand, we had the idea to go into the companies, because network is not enough. The companies need to change, and especially men in companies need to change. And how do you get the men to change? You have to get them involved to make the part of the change. And this was like different workshop formats we had in 8 tourism companies. And it was happening during the last year, and it was an intense time, but we are just getting started. So it's more like a marathon, so it's not a sprint. Yeah.
Sounds very good. A lot of measures, a lot of things you mentioned already. So you wanted to have it more colorful and male. Yeah, it's also a very important topic. We will talk about that also later. But maybe first one, what obstacles do women striving for leadership positions face, and how could MOVET, I mean, you already mentioned some measures, but how could MOVET, help overcome these?
I can just tell what women told me, huh? So I mean, it's not the man who's telling what the problems are, the women problems, to be honest. But what we see in research is that on the one hand, it's really like to break the male networks. So in companies, you have strong male networks. I don't know, the typical Feierabendbier and all these kind of typical things you do. This is something which is really like a gatekeeper function. So men are good in networking even without a topic. So they can just talk without any content, and it works. And we thought, okay, what can we do to break this barrier? So we need a female leaders network where we bring all the cool people together to have their some kind of a joint movement. And that was the idea, because the male networks are parts of the problem. And of course, that especially male leaders are aware that diversity matters. And of course, companies are better off if they're having a diverse team. And so, these are the two major things. So like the missing network, and on the other hand, men who are not aware that it's important.
And you already mentioned that MOVIT ended last year. So what's next? So because it's not over, the challenge.
No,
there still has to be done something. And what's your long-term vision? How can also the German government, but also tourism companies support this initiative?
Yeah. I think, to be honest, as tourism industry, we are a bit like, we are late to the party, to be honest. I mean, many other industries are moving ahead. And I'm a bit mad about it, that it took so long just to get started. I mean, I'm in this position since 2 years now. So for me, it was directly important to do something because I was engaged in diversity topics in general, in my former career part. But for us, it's important to keep on going. So this female leaders network we are just created will be during the next years. We will make it, I don't know, a normal formal event which will come every 6 months to bring cool people together, and even without a funding. So I mean, it's important that the industry itself keeps on going. So we are looking there for partners, and we got some nice partners from the industry which said, okay, the idea is so cool. We are funding this kind of events, this kind of lunch formats. So money in this case is not a problem. So this is something where we can keep on going. But the new German government, of course, would be nice if they would support us in this kind of track, because it's always nice if you have the government on your side when you walk, I don't know, this long distance, so to say.
You already mentioned that tourism industry was late to the party, but you mentioned already the measures which have been done. So in your role also as Secretary General of the BTW, are you satisfied with the current progress regarding women's participation in tourism?
Yeah, I mean, what I really see is that the industry is really colorful and really diverse. And when it comes to leadership, it's basically just men. And we see it in associations. That's a huge problem for us too, because when we would like to represent an industry which is so colorful, which is doing all those great things we are doing as an industry, and then you just talk about men are just talking, this is not who we are. So we have to break the barrier. So I'm not satisfied with that. And I guess the industry needs to speed up a little to get this done. Yeah.
And you mentioned already men, the industry, everything. So it's about also that women in leadership positions are underrepresented is also really a societal issue, societal problem, societal structures. So to what extent can the MOVIT initiative really make an impact?
Yeah, to be honest, the MOVIT is just like a drop on a hot stone. Do you say it in English? I don't know. You know
we understand,
what I mean. So it's just like, I mean, we are just getting started, and of course we will not change the world with that. But I think at least if we bring together these 250 cool women we find in leadership positions, and if there's a network which does its magic, I think this is something which makes a difference. Of course, not in the short one, but maybe on long term. And so, I mean, it's just important just to get started and to do something, because just to wait and to see if something happens is not an active role I see myself in.
Yeah, that's so true, definitely. And I mean, gender equality is not just nice to have. So because I think also, I've got a question to you. Could gender equality in tourism, especially in times of skilled labor shortages, contribute to making the tourism industry more interesting, more attractive, especially also to younger generations? And how could this work?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I think what we see in other industries is more diverse teams are, as better the company is doing. And that's something we of course, we can copy for tourism industry, of course, too. And so I guess that's something that we should always be aware. It's not like a nice thing to have. It's something we should really work on, because on two aspects. One is like, if you want to have an innovative, performing company, of course you need diverse teams, and that means female leaders, even as a role model. And that's the second aspect. Yesterday evening we had an evening with young people, young talents from the industry. 250 young talents were there, and they told me how important it is that you see in leadership roles not just men, so you see some kind of diversity and someone you can identify with, to understand that this can be you. And I think that's something which is really crucial, that we come to this point that, I don't know, everyone who's working in our industry really thinks I can be this one, but it just works when it's diverse in the leadership team. Otherwise, it will not function.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And especially, I think also when you look at the big tourism tour operators, you see only male in the upper level, and I think
especially bigger companies are having more resources, more skills, so they are more in the driver's seat here. I mean, small and middle-sized businesses, I would not say let's go to the front and you are the leaders in this way. I think the bigger companies, who are of course in our association, they should go to the front because they know why it's important and they have the resources to skill the man up in this regard, that they understand how big this topic is and how crucial and important. So I think the bigger companies should go there and be in the driver's seat.
Very good. So maybe also personal insights and perspective even more. What changes need to happen, and what do men, we already mentioned it several times, what do men and what do women maybe also need to change? And what should men do to enable female leadership, and how could such a male leadership look like?
I think it's time for a new generation of men, to be honest. I mean, we need some change makers who are not always, who don't see themselves always in the first row, in the front seat. I think this is something which is really important, that men understand that they are part of the change. Otherwise, it will not happen, or it will happen really slow. So you need some change makers, and I think men need to emphasize this, that they are crucial parts of the game. Otherwise, it will not work. And the second part of the question was, sorry?
What does specific male leadership mean? Or how could it look like?
Yeah, I mean, especially that even, I don't know, male leaders are aware that this is a topic, and they are not, that they are open for the discussion and even open for thinking. What we realized, even in our industry and in our association, that if you talk with some men about the topic, it really needs some time that they really understand what is happening here and why it's important, or not, oh, let's come with the female leaders topic again. No, it's something which matters for the industry and for your performance, or for the idea who we are. And that's something which is important, that man understands that. And I really think that younger men, or the new generation of men, is more willing to do this and to understand how important it is. Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's very important what you mentioned.
Yeah. Oh, and you asked what can women do. I will not supervise what can women do. It's always, but what I realized is, so we are doing this tourism summit once a year. It's a huge conference here in Berlin, and I'm responsible for creating the stage and who is on stage. And if I call a man, if you would like to go on stage, he directly says yes, no matter what the topic is. So the men just need a stage, and doesn't matter what kind of topic, because they can talk to anything. And if I talk to female leaders, I say, hey, I would like to have you on stage. Yeah, sure, sounds interesting, but am I really the expert? Am I making good? What is my piece of the puzzle? And so I think that's the difference. So this is maybe, it's not an advice, but I would say trust yourself and be confident in your expertise and push it to the front, because otherwise no one else will do it for you, because men don't need a topic.
Such a very important point you're mentioning, and the female leaders I will invite soon, they already were clapping and nodding, so yeah, it takes maybe an extra mile, but we are aware of that, and so we have to get used to that and take the extra mile, otherwise it won't work. But it's good, and as you mentioned, we need this new generation of male leaders, and it's great that you are such a great example for that, and that you and the BTW really supporting that. Maybe are there any examples during the MOVIT workshops, maybe good examples of new male leadership generation, or what was really good examples, what was working very well? Are there
I was not part of all the workshops, but what I realized is, if you get a crowd of people together and they are willing to participate and they are engaged, then you break the ice, then it's fine. But you need to get to this point, and that was really some kind of hard. So the workshops were for free, So, and I had to, of course, I called all my companies who are in the association. Are you willing to participate? And I thought, if we create this kind of workshops and they are for free, and it's something which of course gets some benefits to the company, everyone is running through my doors and said, okay, I want to participate. The truth was, no one was like, let's do it. So you need to push, and that's something which was a learning for me. Even if it's a free workshop, everyone knows why it's important. Sometimes you need to convince, especially men, that they need to, I don't know, to open the doors and to let the discussion in, and that was something I hadn't anticipated before.
Yeah, but good that you still push and try to change the situation. Yeah. Any other workshops, maybe some ideas of new workshops which could be done, or
for us it's now important to keep the pressure on the topic.
Yes.
That means for us as an association, I mean, associations are always like playgrounds for companies coming together, matchmaking, connecting. That's basically the idea, and of course political representation. So we would like to do this female lunches. That is something we keep on going, that we find great speakers, female leaders out of politics, female leaders out of the industry, to have this joint moment, and that's something we keep on going. Let's see with the workshops how we can do it this year, because as I said, the funding by the government is now officially over. So we need to find a way there how to push this one further. But I'm fine with if we create 3 lunches this year with 250 people, and then I'm totally happy to at least do something.
Yeah. And did you also maybe realize that, because sometimes you are not really aware that there is a problem how you manage things, and that you're not considered women as a man, for example, this unconscious bias, for example.
I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, and could you maybe realize during these workshops that some thought, oh my God, really, yeah, that's an issue. I really...
Yeah, sure. I mean, if men are surrounded by men, why should they understand that there's a problem? Because in their idea, there is no problem, because everything is fine. Harald is there, Karl is there, everyone is nice. But this is basically the problem. I mean, so if you're just surrounded by your own environment without any kind of external influence, so to say, how should you realize that something is going wrong? And this kind of internal bias, I think we all have it in any kind of ways. And I think this is something to be aware that you have it, even if you think you don't have it. And that's something to realize, which took some of the workshops really a lot of time to realize, okay, how is my behavior? What is my unconscious bias? And am I aware that I'm acting like this? And do I want to behave like this? And this was maybe the crucial point, that they thought they are totally open, inclusive, and they are connecting. No, they're not. And that was something like showing their own picture in the mirror, so to say. And this was a crucial point during the workshops.
Very good. So I think that your workshops, and definitely I'm sure that they already changed something, but there still needs to be done something. But you are, I think you will bring this even further. So I think. Yeah, it's a little bit of time showing, but I think we are almost done, or we were done now with that. There will be a little bit of a break, just to bring our other female leaders on stage. But for the time being, thank you very much, Sven. It was really great having you.
Thank you.
Thank you really so much for your support, and that you're pushing this, because we need men like you, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.